About 2 years ago, something hit me. Not motivation. Not a quote. An insight that completely destroyed how I see relationships. Here's the truth most men don't want to hear. There was not a single random woman in your life. Not one. If you look closely, you'll see how many unlikely events had to align for you to meet her. Time. Place. Decisions. Coincidences. From a probability standpoint, it makes no sense. Which means one thing. You didn't meet her just because. That meeting had a purpose. And no. That purpose was not fun dates, chemistry, or killing time together. You didn't meet her for movies, laughter, or comfort. You met her to gain knowledge. Knowledge about relationships. About people. And whether you believe in this or not doesn't change how it works. Here's what I understood. Very simply. Very painfully. Certain men are sent betrayal. And the ending of a relationship is predictable. For example, if a man is ruled by lust and doesn't fight it, he will always choose a promiscuous woman. Always. Why? Because a modest woman won't trigger him. She won't light him up. So he programs his own future. One day, that woman will cheat on him. Or simply leave for another man. We've all seen this. You see a guy walking next to an openly vulgar woman. And you think, doesn't he see it? Doesn't he understand where this leads? He does not. And here's the key. He can't. No matter how much he wants to. At his level, a modest woman would bore him to death. He wouldn't last. They don't match. Men with uncontrolled ego, arrogance, and pride are given cruel women. A woman who dominates him. Raises her voice. Breaks him slowly. And he listens. After she fully crushes him. And that's only a matter of time. She humiliates him publicly. In stores. On the street. On the phone. You see a wife yelling at her husband. And you think, why does he tolerate this? Why not leave? But ask yourself something else. Would it be better if he met a soft, kind woman? No. He would destroy her within a year. So he must meet the worst one. The loudest. The most aggressive. So she can stop him. Now let's go deeper. Why do the most arrogant men meet the most cynical women? Because arrogance is not confidence. It's hostility. It's the desire to lower everyone else. And such a man will meet a woman just like that. Beautiful. Bright. High status. Prestigious. But inside? Cold. Cruel. And he will find out too late. He won't just be abandoned. He'll be mentally crushed. Humiliated. Emotionally destroyed. She said she stopped loving you. And this sentence destroys men more than betrayal. You ask yourself, how is that even possible? Yesterday everything was fine, and today, nothing. Here's the uncomfortable truth. You chose her based on infatuation. She left you based on the absence of infatuation. That's it. Yes, you look like the victim. No argument there. But the motivation behind your actions is the same. You wanted her because you felt something. She left because she stopped feeling something. The only difference is timing. You're still burning. She already cooled down. That's why it hurts so much. Now listen carefully. The woman a man chooses almost always contains the same moral flaws as the man himself. Just multiplied. 2 times. 3 times. Sometimes 10. Look closely at the woman you fell in love with. 2 or 3 of her worst traits. You have them too. Maybe in a softer form. Maybe hidden. But they're there. I know how offensive this sounds. If someone told me this when I was 18, when I suffered for a woman for years, I would have exploded. I saw myself as the good guy. The sincere one. The loving one. And her? Cold. Cynical. Cruel. I felt like a martyr. But reality was different. If I were truly kind, I wouldn't have wasted time on her. If I were truly loving, I would have chosen a woman who needed that love and could accept it with gratitude. If I were truly moral, I would have recognized her nature early. But I couldn't. Because desire blinded me. I fell in love driven by passion. She acted driven by passion too. She lost interest. She regained it. She played. And I called it fate. Here's something even harder to swallow. In one story, I was the villain. I left a good woman because my interest faded. In another story, I was the victim. I suffered. I was broken. And that's the trap. Being a victim does not make you a good man. At some point every man screams the same question, why me? What did I do wrong? I asked that question too. Loudly. Desperately. Especially when I was young. But here's the mistake. The question is wrong. The real question is not what you did wrong. The real question is who you are. Back then, I was dependent on desire. On beauty. On passion. And that combination is a direct ticket to suffering over women. You won't understand it the first time. There will be a second. If not the second, the third. Each one more painful. Until one thing changes. Until a man stops blindly trusting his feelings, he will keep smashing his head into the same wall. And then men ask, why do some get a good wife and others don't? Why do some men build calm families while others live in constant drama? Because to even want a good woman, a man needs self-control. Long-term relationships are boring to a man ruled by impulse. Stability doesn't excite him. Drama does. A good woman won't provoke you. She won't manipulate you. She won't push your buttons. And that scares an untrained man. Self-control is required because you will snap, get irritated, raise your voice. And she won't strike back. That creates responsibility. And responsibility is heavy. Gratitude is required too. Because a good woman cannot force you to respect her. She doesn't know how. Respect comes from inside you. If a man doesn't develop self-control and gratitude, a problematic woman takes that place. Because with a problematic woman, none of this is required. You don't need patience. You don't need discipline. Fear of loss does the job for her. And a problematic woman knows exactly how to press on that fear. Here's the hard line. A good woman can only be loved by a good man. But a problematic woman can be loved by anyone. And that's not always bad. Sometimes it's the only path available to you. The only conditions under which you can grow. Because books won't change you. Movies won't change you. Videos like this won't change you. Only personal experience does. I'll give you a simple example. Everyone says the most important thing in a car is reliability. We all nod. We all agree. But we still choose based on looks, speed, status. Until one day the car breaks down in the middle of nowhere. Cold. Rain. No signal. No charger. 12 hours stuck. After that, you choose differently. Relationships work the same way. Until you're properly betrayed, you don't care about loyalty. Until you're deeply humiliated, you don't value peace. Until you're emotionally destroyed, silence means nothing to you. So yes. You chose women because it was fun. Because it was exciting. Because it felt good. I did the same. And it led nowhere. Here's the good news. And most men don't see it. Meeting a good woman, and eventually a wife, is almost always preceded by a period of suffering. You can explain it spiritually, psychologically, or logically, but the pattern is the same. The best relationships are preceded by the worst ones. Really. So if you're suffering right now, or suffered recently, this is not a reason to give up. It's a sign you're close to a turning point. Here's the rule most people miss. You don't choose a good partner before life breaks you. You choose them after. People ask, why are there no normal women left? Or normal men? I tried, nothing worked. But think about it. A man is 30, 35 years old. He's had 5, 7, maybe 10 relationships. Almost every time he thought, this one is different. And every time it collapsed. At some point, this stops being bad luck. It becomes a pattern. Most people choose the same type over and over again. Different faces. Same essence. Same ending. And then they say, all women are the same. Or all men are the same. That's not reality. That's blindness. Now listen carefully. Choosing a woman who has never been betrayed is risky. Not because she's bad. But because she doesn't know pain. She doesn't know loss. She can't value peace. I've seen this in real life. Almost perfect partners. Honest. Loyal. Calm. And the other person can't appreciate it. They think it's normal. That it's like this everywhere. It's like someone who never bought spoiled food. He doesn't believe it exists. He can't recognize quality, because he's never been burned. That's dangerous. Imagine having 99 strengths and 1 weakness. And every day you're judged only by that weakness. What happens next? Resentment. Coldness. Distance. And then that person leaves, enters new relationships, gets lied to, betrayed, humiliated. And only years later understands, what we had was rare. But it's too late. This is why people say they were unlucky in love. But luck has nothing to do with it. People don't understand how strange it is to be wrong this many times in a row. At some point, the problem is not the world. It's your selection. In most cases, people choose the same type again and again. And life keeps correcting them. Harder each time. Here's the final point. Good relationships come after love-based suffering. Not before. So if you've been broken, betrayed, or abandoned, this is not punishment. It's preparation. And if you understand this before life has to hit you again, you're already ahead.